Please welcome America's service sales coach, Joe Crisara.
Welcome to the Service MVP Podcast, the show that helps home service professionals master high-value sales, build stronger client relationships, and grow their business like never before. Join industry experts as they share real strategies that drive results. If you're ready to level up your service game, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
It's the Service MVP Podcast.
Normally do either, that there's a higher power that draws it to do negative things or positive things, but it's up to us to choose that path. And I think that's something that the choice we all have is something that every tradesman is faced with. Could you comment on that a little bit? Just that kind of a concept?
I think, and I'm actually reading a lot about this right now, and in a way what you're talking about is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, or the DLPFC. Mm-hmm. And it's a part of our brain that it is what we will use. So if you take responsibility and you say, this is on me, I caused it, I own it, I'll fix it, especially in the cases when you don't want to. And let's even take it to a lower level. I'll be up at 3:45 tomorrow morning. It does not matter what time I go to sleep. It does not matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how I sleep. I'll be up at 3:45. I'll be at the gym when it opens at 4:30, right? I'm going to get a lift in tomorrow. Actually, since November 1st, I'm going to get 30 minutes of cardio, and then I'm going to get a lift because I'm trying to cut down a little bit because I'm getting a little sloppy here. So, and what happens when we do this is we activate something called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And there's like a versus battle of this versus the limbic system inside of our brains at all times. This is the thing that basically controls everything about our future, our income, our fitness level, our confidence, our growth in every way. The DLPFC grows when we make a decision and then do something, especially when we don't want to, but it's something that needs to be done. The limbic system is pushing us the other way. It desires comfort, safety, security, not action, right? So the limbic system will be saying, bro, you don't need to do that. Get up that early. You crazy? You need sleep, bro. Roll back over. Yeah, it's cold. The pillow feels good. The blanket feels good. Mama feels even better. Let's slide her over a little bit closer. Yep. And just chill. You deserve it. Well, when I take that road, which is what you do as an addict, you are completely given over to the limbic system. Mm-hmm. And when you get in recovery and start making these hard, difficult choices, the limbic system gets weaker and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex actually gets stronger and even grows. They can even see it grow in the brain. Mm-hmm. So the more you do difficult things that you don't want to do, but you know you should do, the easier they get. Because as that grows, it gets easier to, the voice of the limbic system shuts up. It quiets down. It's never gone. Like tomorrow morning, I want to throw that phone into the sheetrock and just shut the world out, right? Close the curtains and like I'm sleeping till 10. It's always there, but man, it gets so much less influential as you work on strengthening the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So that silent war happening in our heads at all times is always being won by one side or the other. And I'm really digging into how, like, we don't know the levels we can hit. We really don't know what reserves are untapped inside of us as we grow that good part of our brain and shrink that bad part. But it's like, what's the potential in one of us, right? I'm a high school dropout, former gangbanger, drug addict with no dad, who is now on a podcast with probably the premier presentation trainer in the home services, right? Ever. And I'm being interviewed like this, what? Right. And all the things that I've gotten to do in my life. And you put it perfectly. They're as a result of that process of starting recovery and taking ownership and saying, these hard decisions have to be made. These difficult steps have to be stepped. And at the time when I was at the worst point of my life, which is right before I went to rehab, when I was literally squandering the fact that I got, just by some miracle, placed on a team with Lance Fernandez, Brent Buckley, and Ken Goodrich, right? Like, how lucky can you get? Nobody knew who any of them were, but you could tell there was greatness there. No question about that.
Mm-hmm.
And because of constant sacrifice to my limbic system, or that soft, weak, pathetic version of me, I squandered it all. It was gone. So I'm really diving into, and there's a great analogy about that. There's an old Cherokee legend about a grandfather is talking to his grandson, and he says, son, inside all of us, inside every man and woman, there are two wolves. One wolf is interested in your destruction. It's interested in make you as small as possible. Do all the wrong things. Be selfish. Be lazy. Be unforgiving. Be bitter. Be ungrateful. You are entitled to everything you've ever had, and you don't know anyone anything, right? And then the other wolf, I'd say your prefrontal cortex, is bent on your success and your achievement, and you becoming as big and is a big contributor to the world as you possibly can, and wants only good things for you, and is about gratitude and about work ethic. And the boy leans into his grandfather. He says, grandfather, which one wins? And the grandfather leans back into him and says, the one you feed. And I've seen it play out in my own life for so long now. I think I'm probably getting maybe a little too impatient with the next generations, whereas before I was willing to take my time. But now when I see guys slacking off with their limbic system, I'll roll my eyes right in front of them as they're giving me their excuse. And it's like, I need to be a little bit more gracious with them. So if you're listening, that was my apology. Yeah. As close as you're going to get.
Maybe a little more empathetic and
a little more empathy and just patience and grace. It's like, whatever they're doing, they're not doing what I was doing at their age, right? Because it'd be a heck of a lot worse. But right, that limbic wolf, we'll call it, one, safety and comfort. It's an ancient system inside us. Hide in the cave and don't die. It looks for the easy route.
It's timeless. And the limbic system brings us to darkness and isolation. And the other system, which I'll leave that to you. Those are some phrases.
The PFC.
From you for sure, but the other system, the system of service and work that we do to help other people it's harder to do, honestly, and harder to even serve ourselves the right way, as opposed to, I think we fall into it's a magnetic pull. It doesn't take any effort to serve that limbic system. It takes effort to do the other one. I think that's why it does align with the service industry so much, because it is a service. It's like the ultimate service, I think, that you're providing there. Make sense?
Yeah. And every day we walk into a service call, right? For your audience, I'm sure every morning we roll out of bed, every time we make a tough decision, these two systems are literally fist fighting for control. And like you said, one takes no effort whatsoever on our part to feed it.
Let it happen. Yeah.
All we have to do is just not fight it. And the other one is an uphill drag with a heavy pack on us. This isn't motivational theory. It's literal neuroscience. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex grows through use like a muscle. But when it's not used, it's not just like only it atrophies. The limbic system grows at the same time. So there couldn't be a more important tug of war for us that we can actually do in our brains than to list out the hard things that we need to do that ought to be done, and then do them and keep doing them and keep doing them. Remembering that as that muscle gets bigger, those little weights get lighter and lighter and lighter. Now, the cool part about it is we get more driven as a result, right? And now we're starting to look for heavier and heavier and heavier weight, and your responsibility increases.
Thank you for listening and watching the Service MVP podcast. I want to give you a copy of my free book. Just click on the link below in the description, and one will be sent to you from me personally. Thank you so much for listening.